Episode 5 of the Amazing Digital Crcus has finally released. So being the insane person that I am, I'm going to analyze the entire thing, frame by frame. Here we go. Open on Zubul, sitting alone, implying that they are skipping most of Kane's adventures as they were previously. In the next frames here, we've got Zubul with, of course, brand new pieces attached, reading some sort of magazine. When we pause on the right frame right as it's closed, we can zoom in, enhance the image, and see that it says, "What do your parts say about you, Circus?" Zubul blinks once. Next, a blue portal opens behind Zubul's head, which means that indeed, the portals are colored to whatever adventure they just came from. The portal also opens in the same place as all previous portals have. As the gang come back from their adventure, Kane refers to them as
candy hearts and paper flowers.
This is a reference to Raggedy Ann, the character that of course Ragatha was based on. Interestingly enough, we also see Kane repair Gangle's mask, which is interesting because Kane isn't supposed to be able to control their minds or emotions in any way, but he can repair Gangle's mask, so that's something to take note of at least. There is a red balloon dog in the background. There is a mannequin in the background. Kane's notepad is covered in bees, just like it was in episode 3. However, right at the end here, we see Kane as a bee for some reason, taking 10 damage, I can assume, from some sort of angry bee. I personally assume the angry bee is meant to be Bubble. Not much significance here, but I just thought that this frame looked really funny, so I put that in.
Oh, Zubul, you mismatched cash piano, I'll tear you to pieces!
Look at this cool S I can draw. One of the miscellaneous objects is the teapot from episode 2. The adventure based on Charlie and the Chocolate Factory specifically mentions the OSHA violations, which could be a coincidence, but I personally like to think that this is referencing the MatPat video. The adventure about the sentient cardiovascular system attacking the US military was referenced in this Reddit post, which was made exactly 1 day before the episode's release. Kane's telekinetic apocalyptic dog story is based off of A Boy and His Dog, which is a real movie. Somehow. Bubble makes the foreshadowed sex joke.
Not to mention the sex appeal.
Jax is the only one with an incorrect shadow. In this scene, Jax runs specifically the same way a rabbit would, which is interesting. To make Jax a vegan vote, Ragatha has a significant delay before casting her vote, showing that she doesn't like confronting Jax. Kane makes Jax a vegan and controls his mind, which has plenty of implications. See, Kane can't control their minds, he can only control the minds of NPCs, so if he can control Jax's mind, that makes Jax an NPC. Now, we've seen that NPCs can go into the circus, and we know that Kane wouldn't be able to tell, which means that Jax is an NPC because the Talking Dentures Man made him a vegan. Because it isn't a Tater Animations video without a wild theory. And lots of technical issues. The White House model is incredibly accurate, aside from several missing trees and a few added benches. Ragatha slightly fixes her posture when Kinger walks by. The photos behind Pomni here are of those gummy candy elephants from episode 2, some sort of sugar plum princess, as well as a picture of Jax and I guess the food from episode 4, but most interestingly, there's also a picture of abstracted Kaufmo, which is very concerning. Kinger's character sheet proves that his character is trying to capture both New Zealand and Australia because of the conflict. Pomni's notebook says presidents do not touch. However, the spacing's weird, so this entire time I was trying to figure out what praise idents meant. Posters behind Jax are a reference to the Gaslight District. The poster even translates to Gaslight District reference. The writing on the board translates to English and Kinker. The writing next to Jax says Monday, Sunday, Haneo. The book collection behind Gangle is missing book 6. By translating these blocks above it into a Caesar cipher translator and shifting it by 6 letters, we're able to get ARJ, which is a type of file. Probably a coincidence, but thought I might mention it. The frames before the intermission contain shots from previous episodes and nothing else. Before we do the intermission, I need you guys to know how much this hurt my brain. Frame by frame! Have you seen this thing? It's ridiculous! Kane spends 1 frame as just a pair of eyes here. This impact frame is really cool. In this giant eye explosion, all of them are Kane's right eye specifically. Pomni, Jax, and Kinger were all intended to be crushed by giant bowling balls and the others by cakes. Kinger stops his, however. Kinger is then killed by a black rook that might resemble an abstracted character. It's doing an illegal move. Pomni is swallowed by Bubble. Could be foreshadowing or just silly. Pomni does a frog pose here, which might represent her original design being a frog. Of course, Jax runs down the hallway, passing by Kaufmo's room, the room of a random mannequin, and finally, of course, Ribbit's room, the one that he stops at. Now, Ribbit is, of course, a frog character. Interestingly enough, we just discussed frogs. Frogs being the original design for Pomni, and a lot of the design elements of Ribbit can actually be attributed to Pomni's characteristics as well, which might be why Pomni and Jax are becoming such good friends. Anyways, after having to do that whole intermission, I am dead inside, so how about we take a quick break? please, for my sanity. Anyways, back to it. The bar is called Radio Ice. The sign in the back says cocktails, of course, but there's also a reference to that dog from before. Many of the plaques in the background contain Kane's face. However, one of them contains the C&A logo. C&A is the name of the company that, assumedly, created the circus. 90% sure that that's the Spudsies guy, but I could be wrong. This billboard has several commercials, one for Cack Burger, which I do not understand and most likely never will, one for Spudsies, and one for Kaufmo Tire, which is concerning to say the least. We of course see the moon in the background of this one commercial, and of course, C&A. There's yet another C&A behind the billboard. Regatha's eye looks funny here. Another C&A on the camera here, and that same weird NPC. Pomni votes against the maid outfit idea. Zubal's evil clone is based off of the original pilot design for them. The Gloink Depot, how gloinkers get more gloinked. Gummy Goo sponsored Gatorade, yet another C&A. Moon and Sun commercials. The Spudsies guy and another C&A. A simultaneous reference to Hungry Jack's and the merch line of Jack's Burgers. Concerning pictures in the main hub of the circus, this ad for corn, and these weird eyeball pictures behind the NPC at the end. And I forgot to reference it before, but there's a Gloinks book, a Sun and Moon book, a bunch of gibberish books, and of course books for Egg, Frank, and Mind Freak, whatever that is. And there's the NPC in the background, again. And that's everything I noticed going frame by frame through the episode. Did I miss something? I'd be shocked if I did, but then again, actually, I probably wouldn't. So let me know in the comments if you saw anything that I missed. I'll probably have a theory talking about the specifics, but until then, remember, Jax is an NPC, Ralsei is Flowey, and this has been Tater Animations trying to do a YouTube video. Card time! Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry for missing last week's upload. If you saw the community post, which I can't blame you if you didn't, all my footage was corrupted, and my iPad, which I had all the footage recorded on, decided to just completely screw up its entire storage process. So, once again, I swear I'm not making these up. It's just every single time I go to make a video, it's immense technical difficulties, as I mentioned before. Yeah, even this one had a whole bunch, and I had to make it in like a day to keep up with the schedule of uploads. So I really am trying, guys. I'm sorry if it's getting slow, but I got a new job, and I don't want to just say, oh, I can't make it into work today. I have to talk about the silly cartoon characters. So please just stick with me, and I'm sure I'll have it, good to go soon. And please subscribe, because if you do, you'll actually get one wish granted. The only parameters